Burn
Nico
your
Blitz,
regrets.
the lunch table, man. Quarantine or post-quarantine edition, depending on which state you live in, man. Shout out to my next guest, fan favorite of the lunch table, Hi-Rez. What's good, bro?
What up? What up? What up? Thank you for having me back, man.
You know, amongst everybody who I fuck with, like in the music industry, you've been the most consistent throughout quarantine, bro. I don't know how you do it.
This is all I do. I quarantine my. I know everyone says the stereotypical. I've been quarantined. You know, I've been hustling. I've been at my crib in the studio locked in. But it's like, bro, like I've been locked in. Like it's just me, my girlfriend, and maybe like depending on the scenario, whether it's video, photo, or music, there's only one other component. You know what I mean? It's just me, my significant other, and then a producer, or me, my significant, and then an editor. You know what I mean? It's always just a small little thing going on, and I've been locked in since day one. So I've been waiting for this day.
Yeah, and you've been doing that for years, man. Also, congrats too, because I remember when you were back over here in California, you were, I want to say you were at like 900K subscribers on YouTube, and not even a year later, you're at 1.8 million.
Yeah, almost 1.9 now. So that's crazy that you remember.
Almost 1.9 now.
Yeah, and I'm sitting on like 8 videos right now, bangers. So I know I have my 2 million video right here on my desktop. I'm ready to go, bro. I'm locked in, like I said. But that's crazy that you remember 900K, because I kind of lost track. Like that first million, it took me 9 years. You know what I mean? It took me 9 years to hit that first million, and then to get 2 million, it took me a year. So it's like the shit that you know what I mean? You do these stairs brick by brick every day, and then it's like somehow you just double, triple, quadruple in like 1/10 of the time.
So you saying it took you about like 9-10 years to get your first million subscribers. What do you think the secret is for you basically doubled it within not even a quarter of that same time?
I think it's just consistency. You know, the whole we talked about this last time, the whole 10,000 hours thing, the whole like on your decade, like bro, I didn't turn a profit in my business until last year. So it's like I did 9 years of money lost, 9 years of like, yeah, I didn't put shitloads of money because I didn't have shitloads of money to put into it. But anything I had, like I was in the red for 9 years. So that 10th year. And once again, it wasn't like $1 that I made. Like I made solid money in the last couple of years, or the last year and a half, whatever. But it's like that same concept, bro. I think it's just consistency. Like obviously you see some people, you know, they get famous from one thing, and then like the Catch Me Outside girl, I don't know her money situation, but everybody has their own way to do it. You know, you might go viral off a video and capitalize. You might get viral off a record and do it, or it might take you 10 years to make $1. You know what I mean? So it all depends. I don't know. There's no secret, man. Everybody wants the keys, you know, but.
Well, that's why for the OG YouTubers, I think everyone would say like, obviously, oh, this is the McDonald's guy.
Of course.
You know
we talked about it last time. Too. And I'm thinking about, I'm going in circles with all the shit we already talked about. But like the OG YouTube days too, even before that, I know we talked about like Traffic and all these guys that you know you were big into, or not. I don't know if you were big into it, but we discussed like the OG YouTube heads, and those guys would testify too, that like if they're still doing it, guys like Timothy De La Ghetto and all these dudes, you know, it took them 12, 13, 14, 15 years to do the same concept. So it's like, I don't know, man, I've been on multiple platforms from like almost the inception. And it's like, I never expected to get famous or rich the next day. So I'm not disappointed in anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think also too, going back to the secret, you were able to adapt to quarantine so well, bro. Like for instance, one person who's really big on YouTube who I love seeing their rap videos is a Harry Mack, for example.
Okay. Yeah. I checked him out a couple of times.
You know, Harry Mack, he'll go to Venice Beach and he'll rap in front of people, so on and so forth. And, you know, it's powerful. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's freestyle.
But, you know, obviously you have the Uber raps and whatnot. But I just finished watching your video where you were doing like a Zoom interview. Like you were in like people's Zoom classes rapping. And I'm just like, how much more brilliant can this guy get, man? Like he's over here like invading classrooms, crashing classes, just doing his thing. Like, I don't know how much more innovative that can be, because I don't know another rapper who can do that or who has done that.
So what I do a lot of the times, and it's like the same thing as Kanye or 50. I don't remember who said it initially. They switch the style up, watch the money, right? So it's stereotypical as a rapper to quote the line, right? But it's true. Like I'll go on YouTube, and like you ever heard of the Nelk Boys? The Nelk Kids?
Yeah.
So like anything, or Mr. Beast, right? Like something of that caliber, right? So I'll watch Mr. Beast or Nelk or David Dobrik, whoever it is, and I'll be like, okay, what does the thumbnail look like? What's the concept they're doing? Now, how can I make this rap? You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
how can I make this viral mass appeal? Like I saw the Nell Kids crash the class. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna crash the class and rap. Same concept. You know what I mean? So I'll go in and I'll find like a winning formula that usually exists, and I'll just implement it to like something that already makes sense for my brand. Same with TikTok. Like I do the same concept. I'll scroll down the For You page. I'll be like, oh, this is stupid. This is funny. That's stupid. Whatever. And I'll be like, let me make it more about like a dick joke now because my fans love when I make dick jokes and shit.
That's why I think your fans really love the fact that they can get more of your personality out of it, because between your posts like the Pornhub wank band stuff and just like a whole bunch of other TikTok shit, I'm like, Hi-Rez is such a fool, bro, and I'm happy he's able to let his fans know like, yo, it's not always about this rap shit.
Yeah, and it's like I always, since day one, like longevity was always my key, right? And I would get attraction or attention in one direction from one outlet, right? Whether it's like the McDonald's, like you said, and then the Uber or this record or that record. But I never wanted to be the guy that you just turn to for like, oh, like I expect sad music from him, or I expect just like Lil Dicky. I never did my whole research, but Lil Dicky, you laugh at most of his shit, right? He's a funny guy. His whole thing is Lil Dick, it's like it's funny. But like I don't know how many people turn to Lil Dicky for emotional. I don't know. I'm just bringing up an example. So I always wanted it to be and he's very successful. I aspire to be, before people pick up this shit apart. I'm a Jew. Lil Dicky's a Jew. I'd love to work with Lil Dicky one day. But my point is, I always made it a thing in my mind to not just be known for one thing. I want to make people laugh. I want to make people cry. I want to make people happy. I want to make them smile. I want to make them angry. I want to do all those things. And if it takes another decade to make that million or 2 or 10 or make that difference and that change that I'm hoping for, I'm doing this shit till I die, man. As long as I can pay my bills and eat and have some fun, I'm having a good time.
Yeah, that's why I think when I think of you, Hi-Rez the rapper, you got your YouTube shit, which is obviously like funny and entertaining, and then when you got your album shit like only for the fans, it's like, okay, well that's when we're kind of getting the more serious mode.
Yeah, yeah. I only do once a year. An album, and that's the only time I'll get serious is once a year. So.
Well, I mean, even on the last song that you released, "Dying to Live," I was so happy because as soon as I seen the title, I was like, okay, this is gonna be the Biggie and Tupac flip.
Yeah. I'm glad you picked up.
Oh, of course, bro. But you know what I also picked up too was that it was kind of like a mixture between Biggie, Tupac, and also Jadakiss.
Yes, let's go. Bro. Yes.
And I was just like, okay, like Hi-Rez is doing something special right here, bro. Was that a conscious decision that you made?
Absolutely. So my brother wanted me to write to Jadakiss's Why remix, and I didn't end up writing to it, but it kind of put the bug in my head. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, why? I asked the question, and I grew up on that Jadakiss record. Obviously, I grew up on Jadakiss. I grew up on Locks. I grew up on Styles. Everybody, right? So that record to me was one of the big. Why did Bush knock down the tap? All that shit stuck in my head. So I was like, all right, let me kind of do the same concept. And Running is like one of the only records on my girl's phone. I never bring my phone out the house when I leave. So it's like the only record. So when you plug it in, it just played this Biggie record over and over and over and over. So it's the only thing I heard in the car. And I knew it forever, but it kind of jogged my memory again as an adult. And I was like, oh shit, like literally, like you said, let me combine this shit. And I wanted to, I'm big in remixes. So I had the option to do both remixes. But it's like, then I'm starting the album. I need to make money. I mean, I can't just do remixes my whole life. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'll probably circle back and remix both those records, or at least the Y record. But yeah, I'm so glad you picked up on that, because I think only one other head, like one of my OG old head fans, like dude in his 40s, like out of everybody, and I try to do my due diligence by teaching my audience, my younger ones. I try to do the research and help them out. But it's like I can't be sitting there tweeting every day like, do you know where I got this inspiration from? You know what I mean? But I appreciate you picking up on that. I knew you would.
Oh, of course, bro. It's kind of like if you know, you know. That's why when I was listening to it, I was like, wow, this is really freaking.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important to educate like your younger audience about like the roots, about where these songs came from and whatnot, because
absolutely
people don't know, like, Jadakiss released that song Why like around when the Twin Towers had broken down, when it was 9/11.
Yep.
And it was one of those records that made you aware about what was happening during the time.
100%.
I think what you do differently though is like you're extremely motivational, and you like to empower your fans, like, hey, like if you feel like you can do this, go ahead and do this.
Yep.
Type of thing. And it's like, it seems like you're the type of person who's just not ever prone to making excuses for whatever you got going on.
Bro, I literally, I was just having this conversation with my dad the other day where it was like, like that. That's almost my, I embody that. Like that's my existence. Do you know what I mean? Like when you wake up with a certain purpose, my only purpose is literally not like working to live or anything like that, or living to, you know what I mean? But it's literally like you just said, like I put everything into just chasing something, getting it, entertaining it, like some Gary Vee shit. People can make fun of that Tony Robbins shit, but I embody that without ever having listened to an audio tape or any of that shit. It's just something. I don't drink coffee, bro, because I told you this. Because
Yeah.
this is what I do, dog. So it's,
Pescatarian. You already
yeah.
have high energy.
Yeah, I cut the meat, dog. I cut the meat up. I don't know. I don't know if that's where they pause. Cutting meat out somewhere. In the future, they'll figure a way to make that a pause.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know. This is what I do. This is all I do. So it's like when I see somebody making an excuse, you know, I'm not just tweeting or giving you some fortune cookie bullshit. It's like when that's the reason you're alive and exist. I wouldn't, you know, that's why I get so frustrated when somebody I love or care about is just fucking lazy, bro. I want to smack you in your fucking face.
Well, let's get to your what's been your daily routine for quarantine, if you've had one.
Yeah, I absolutely. This is the most regiment. That's not the word. This is the I have a regiment again, you know, after years and years of just kind of being, it's still up in the air. Anyone's life is up in the air when you're your own boss. You know that when you're chasing something, your shit's never really cut and dry, and you know, you don't have a blueprint for this shit. You know what I mean? But the last like 40, 50 days at least, I've been doing Chloe Ting's ab workouts on YouTube. She got
Okay.
check it out. She's, bro, like the YouTube algorithm blessed me. I don't know how it is, bro, but it's like it just popped up, right? And she had 10 million subscribers. She's like one of the fastest growing YouTubers now. And it's like a realistic workout. It's like 35, 40-minute workouts. I've been drinking celery juice every day from the medical medium. You know, the Kardashians be talking about him a lot. So
Okay.
I did my research. But honestly, bro, like without all bullshit aside, like I feel good. Not that I care about the looks too much. I'm looking a little better. I'm looking healthier. I'm feeling healthier. I haven't drank. I haven't smoked in a long time.
Wow.
All this, despite me selling all this shit, you know, I want my fans. I want my fans to partake, but yeah, man, I've been feeling good. I'm not clouded at all. You know, I don't know, man. Everything's cool, man. At the same time that my best music's being made, it's no coincidence that I feel healthier than ever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I created this last album pretty much fully sober. You know what I mean? Not that I ever had a problem with drugs, alcohol, but it's like just from a casual standpoint and like a very party sense. You know, I cut all that bullshit out. Some people, the quarantine, they're fucking more. They're like, oh, I guess I'm an alcoholic. They don't realize the difference. And this has helped me cut all my bullshit out, all my vices, except for fucking porn or some shit. All my vices have been fully cut out.
You said except for porn. Your phone must be supercharged, bro.
Oh, but my shit heat, bro. My shit warm, bro. My shit heated up, though.
You're hella stupid, man. Okay, so then you go through the morning, you drink your celery juice.
Yep, that's it.
What do you do? What do you do after?
All right, so I wake up, I drink my celery juice 15 minutes before I eat anything, you know. Then I do what I do. I ate chia pudding this morning, a chia breakfast, chia seeds, some shit like that. And then you know, I'll do 30, 40 minutes of abs workout and stuff like that. And then maybe I'll go on a jog with my girlfriend somewhere. And then the rest of the day, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, I'll finish up whatever I got to do for this album. And then I've been gaming with fans every night on Xbox. I've been playing Fortnite. I've been playing COD. Honestly, the gaming kind of, bro, I got a regiment. I'm happy to say it out loud. Even last year when I was talking with you, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. You know, I barely knew anyone in LA. I had all my family back East Coast. Yeah, I'm still doing well music-wise, but I had no direction. You know what I mean? And I'm glad I have some direction, man. So thank you for asking, man. It all starts with celery juice, man.
All starts with celery juice in the morning, man, and then you're gaming by night. It's crazy to me how, like, you know, just you being the busy rapper, YouTuber that you are, that you still have time to do video games. I feel like you just need to start streaming your shit too, bro.
So I started doing streaming years ago before, like, I don't want to say, oh, I'm this hipster streamer. No, but I started doing it. It was just so fucking, like you said, it was so tough to balance everything. But now that the album's done, I'm back in the East Coast. I feel a little bit more comfortable in my place. You know, you see, I got the setup. My money's a little bit more right, so I think I'm finally gonna get back in. And I'm super way more tapped in with the gaming world again. I'm actually gonna start an esports organization. I'm gonna start signing kids to my organization. I'm gonna start paying for them to go to tournaments and shit like that. Sign them to contracts. It's gonna be only for the fans gaming. We're going in this year, dog.
There you go, man. What type of video games do you think you're gonna be signing kids to?
Whatever it is, Apex, Fortnite, COD, whatever you guys want to play, CS:GO, whatever you play. If there's tournaments out there and there's money to be made, that 15-year-old kid that can't afford to fly to New York or LA, I'm gonna pay for your flight. I'm gonna put you up in a hotel. As long as you go get the bag, I got you.
But yo, you're gonna be signing kids for video games before you sign rappers, man. That's
100%, no question. That's absolutely fact.
I actually don't even know a rapper who be signing video gamers, bro. Are you like following a template, or are you kind of just like winging it?
So I know a bunch of the kids in FaZe Clan. I know a bunch of fucking successful people in the gaming community already. I know people that have the time to go out and do tryouts for me already. I already got pretty much a blueprint set up, and I got funding. I could secure some funding. Honestly, me and my girl always talk about this shit too. And Gary Vee said this before. I don't care about saying things that I almost have done, because only 2% of the people listening will go out and do it. You know what I mean? 98% of the other artists who are like, because we're always talking like, maybe I shouldn't say some shit. I know last time I talked to you, I don't know if I could talk about this show or that show I'm working on, or this behind the scenes or that behind the scenes. So it's like, now I realize like I can say whatever. Like if you have the ability to go do it, then, there's a lot of money to be made. You're not going, there's a lot of gamers, a lot of 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids out there gaming. But to answer your question, long story short, I got my own little blueprint. I got my team. I got my ducks in a row. And I think it's going to be something big.
Mm-hmm. I think so too, man. Also, I think your album's gonna be big too, bro. Like,
thank you, man.
Bro, with everything that you were showing me, and you also peeped like you texted me 2 songs, bro, and
I'm gonna send you the whole shit in a few days. I'm
bro,
turning it in like tomorrow.
The songs are crazy.
It's my best production yet. I re-linked up with he's a guy from LA too, but he actually was the first guy I ever went to a studio when I was 15 years old. In South Florida, my mom used to drop me off at the studio. I was 15 years old, and it was his house, and we would record in his parents' closet, like it was his dad's house, whatever. And we recorded in his closet with a sheet on it. And he just always had this like he's like a mad scientist, bro. It's like just something weird where it's like, I'm talking about 15, I'm 26 now, so basically a decade once again. And somehow after a decade, we reconnected, and it's no coincidence. My best music, my best tuning on the vocals, best production, best arrangement. It's like, it reminds me of like just anyone professional, bro. Like G-Eazy's records and NF's records, and bro, like just shit that's similar lanes that I get compared to, whatever, Logic, whoever you want to compare. It just sounds like a quality mix and mastered production that I haven't had in probably ever. I'm super hyped to show people this shit. I'm gonna send you the whole shit tomorrow.
Who's your producer friend?
So his name's Ryan Summer.
Okay.
He does mostly like tracking and recording and mixing and mastering. He's less of a producer like in LA. I'm sure he wants to be. Hopefully this album opens doors for him. But like he's like the big top dog in like all these studios, just tracking vocals for Daya, and tracking vocals for Tory Lane, tracking vocals for, I think he got some shit with YG. Like it's always just, he's a dope engineer that makes people sound fire. You know what I mean? So we're kind of bridging the gap now and getting him, out of his fucking room in LA and, doing his thing. So hopefully this album opens doors for both of us. So I think it will.
We're working with somebody who's worked with, all the big names that you mentioned. Did you feel like you had to step up?
Yeah, so he's one of the only dudes, and we get into arguments about it, and I have no problem saying this on camera because we talk about it all the time. But when you know someone for a decade, bro, like you're bound to get into some shit. It's like family at that point. But it's like, he's one of the only guys that challenges me. He's not a yes man. I've had a lot of producers that are just like whatever I say goes, which when I really have a vision, that's how I like it to be. If I feel it in my heart, I don't want anyone to challenge me. And people will know that. I'll be like, look, this is how it fucking is. I believe this in my heart of hearts, blah, blah, blah. But most of the time, like, my girlfriend will fucking say, this and that, this, tweak that, and it'll make sense. And then this motherfucker will be like, fuck the whole shit, start again, add the drums, revert, bro. I'm talking about after, and it's like, most of the time it's not fully that, and it's not fully what I said, but it is usually halfway. You know what I mean? It's like, change this, change that, add that. So
then this album must have been a lot more, it must have took a lot more of your time to make this album then, since you guys were going back and forth so much.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I don't think I made the I guess I made the conscious decision, but it's like I needed to be fully sober and like, I'm not like quitting drinking or smoking or some shit like that, but I needed to just fully like be able to handle this stress of this album, because I don't think I would have if I was waking up hungover and waking up like with anxiety and stressed out. Because like I said, I'm already I'm already type A. I'm already high strung. So it's like I don't really need any substances throwing me off, which is probably forever, you know. But it's no coincidence. I made the best fucking music, and my bad. I definitely stepped this shit up, and yeah, man, I'm hyped for everyone to hear this shit.
So, you know, like you throughout this whole interview and ever since I met you, bro, like pescatarian, you know, you're cutting out smoking as much as you can. You cut out drinking and whatnot. But, you know, I'll talk to my little cousins and they'll be over here talking to me about like Xannies and whatnot, because a lot of like the hip hop heads
Of
or
course,
like
of course.
in hip hop, they are prone to taking all these drugs and whatnot. Like from your perspective, what are your thoughts on like hip hop and it being such a cesspool for like drugs and alcohol abuse?
I think it's fucked up because a lot of the time these artists, myself included, I told you this last time. I said like it's fucked up to relate to guys like a Mac Miller or Lil Peep or certain dudes that like, because I could have became that. I still, God forbid, I'm saying, you know, I have good people around me, not that they didn't, but it's my point is it's such, everyone's so susceptible, especially the bigger you get and the more stressed you get and the more anxious you get and the more, I mean, you see fucking dudes in Wall Street jumping out of buildings when some shit plummets, you know what I mean? It's no difference, you know, in the industry. Like everyone has their stresses. So I think the confusion is a lot of these guys, you know, don't realize that, you know, their addictions or their alcoholism or their whatever stems from, it's not, no one starts partying and just gets hooked from living a great life of partying. That doesn't happen. You know, you taste something and you're like, whoa, this, you know, I can hold something that feels real to me and, you know, I can understand it now. And I've been there and everyone's prone to being there. You know what I mean? At least if you've gone through some shit. But I think the miscommunication and what's misconstrued is these kids that aren't susceptible to this shit. Everyone's susceptible, but these kids that are a little bit less, you know, they're normal kids in high school, whatever, you know, they're hearing their favorite artist say some shit, thinking that they're invincible and they're partying. When in reality, if that artist told you the shit that I'm attempting to tell you, like, look, you know, or any conscious artist, you know, I know Mac would say certain things. Basically, someone who's like, this is a problem. I don't want to be this way. I'm addicted to something. I'm stressed. I have anxiety. I can't cope with this lifestyle. If people approached it and delivered it to fans that way, fans would want to stay the fuck away from it. You know what I mean? Instead, it's popping Molly, I'm sweating. Woo! And they don't realize why you popping a fucking Molly, you know, every time you going out every week. It's because your dad this and your brother this and your cousin that and your mom that and your dude this and whatever you got going on. But nobody wants to deliver it the real fucking way. You know, that's, I respect, you know, Rich just got sober. Rich is my dog. He's the only rapper on the album, man. Shout out to White Jesus. I just respect dudes, and I'm the same way, right? Rich is gardening now and like doing shit that you know what I mean? I'm doing the same shit. Me and my girl are gardening and I'm starting an esports organization. You know, it's like, bro, it's beautiful. Everybody quit doing what you're doing. I'm not saying quit drugs and just change up your regimen, stop something, add something, remove a vice, and watch how many blessings come into your fucking life, man.
Remove a vice and fill it with something good in your life.
100%, bro. Start gardening and start. This man Riz had a zucchini. Pause. This man Riz had a zucchini this fucking big, bro. He was posting on this shit. And I don't know, man. My shit's out there in the courtyard, man. I got tomato trees. I'm eating tomatoes every day, man. It doesn't look that good, but hey, I'm trying, man.
Good for you, man. Good for you. So you said Ritz is the only other rapper on the album?
Yeah, so no rappers, there's no singers. I'm doing every hook on my album.
Wow.
Like I said, this dude, like honestly, I've been on some. I always sang you. I'm the type to. I really only go to like "Let Me Love You" by Mario. That's my shower song. You know.
Mm-hmm. You should let me love you.
Hey, you hit that. But every non-singer's go-to is like a record like that, or like Neo's "So Sick" or some shit. You know,
yeah, that's my go-to, bro.
That's what I mean. It's like if you can't sing, you could always sing the whole record of "Let Me Love You" like decently, even like in key sometimes.
Decently, yeah.
Decently, you know what I mean? But I've been singing for a long time, and this was the first album where I sang on every record, and I only felt comfortable enough to do that because, like I said, you know, this guy's just a fucking mad scientist, bro. Like, if I do some shit right here on my Chaotica, it's a good mic though, but if I do some shit in my room, like not soundproofed and it sounds decent and like I always hit the right notes, right? Like singing's all about being in your range and having the right tone and having just sounding like, we don't care if singers are good anymore. We just care if they sound cool. You know what I mean? So it's the same concept. So yeah, I sang on every hook, but yeah, Rich, the only rapper, he spazzed, he killed his shit. I'm glad I probably got one of Rich's first sober features. You know what I mean? That's some dope shit for me as a fan. I'm a fan of Tech and Strange and all these guys. So it's cool for me to put the only rapper. I was trying to like get Yellow Wolf. I reached out. We'll figure that out in the future. I'm fans of certain dudes. I'm fans of a lot of dudes. I'm just naming white guys. Don't in 2020. Don't worry, guys. I'm fans of black artists too. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah.
I'm fans of plenty of people out there. But you know, there's realistic features and then there's unrealistic features. You know what I mean? Like, so
Sure, I mean, everyone wants the Drake feature, but you know.
that's my point. That's my point.
So, you know, even being like a white man in hip hop, obviously with everything, rest in peace to George Floyd. Shout out to the Black Lives Matter movement for doing what they've been doing for years, and especially like this year, making a really strong stamp in the United States, and
Absolutely.
I would say across the world too. Like,
Absolutely, bro. I have fans in fucking Ireland. There's no black people in Ireland. I have all my fans in Ireland going crazy, bro. It's nuts. It's amazing. It's amazing to see that.
so it's like for you, like from your perspective, like how should a white guy in general and also a white guy in hip hop, how should you guys be approaching everything from your perspective?
So from what I always say, what I said to my girlfriend before anything, you know, happened in recent times, right? We already discussed. Step one would be, if you don't really love this culture, get the fuck out. That's step one. You know what I mean? That's step one. Step two is find a way to contribute. You know, like I donate every month to a place in Chicago. It's called Urban Growers Collective. I'll send you the link. You could throw it somewhere on the screen or something. It's super dope, right? So it's a bus that they renovated and spray painted, and it's just super cool, right? And they grow on top of it's like these urban farms, I guess they call it. It's in like Southside Chicago, and it's I think 11, 12, I don't know how many. I'm gonna do my research again. It's a lot of farms, right? 12, 13 farms, something now. And they basically grow organic produce from they have bananas and avocados and and they drive this bus around to places that like you and me don't have. You know, we have Whole Foods. We can go down the street to Whole Foods, but you know, not even in most major cities. You know, LA, you go a few blocks there, they can't get to a Whole Foods. You know what I mean? And the transportation in LA is terrible. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not the same way as New York. You could just hop on a subway, go blah blah blah, and figure it out. So Urban Growers Collective is dope, where it's like, you know, they just drive around and they give access to organic produce to people that, and it's affordable. It's like stupid affordable. It's a nonprofit. So they're basically just turning it over. Whatever their cost is, they're giving it for that cost. And me and my girlfriend always talk about two things that are realistic, what we do, right? And what we're going to continue doing. So something that's realistic from our standpoint that changes anything, right? The reason I am where I am is from my health, you know, my diet basically, and my education, right? So some people, a lot of people, especially African-American community, don't have that access, right? So I think if you start at those two things, I know it sounds, oh, like you can't, it's not going to happen tomorrow or tonight, you know, but these are two realistic things that we can hold on to and figure out, and whether you want to throw money at it and just be like, you know, be done with it, that's, you know, or be more hands-on. Both are obviously helpful, but health and education, man, like I think that's the big thing. If people were eating better, you know, and had access to better foods, you'd be thinking differently, right? If you had better education, you'd be able to get out of a certain scenario. Obviously, I know the caste system, the hierarchy. I know how shit oppresses people. But at the end of the day, I strongly believe health and education can change the future. Just historically, it could change the future of the world.
I'm into that, man.
Thank you, man.
I don't know what else to say, but I fully agree with you, bro. Like, obviously, institutionalized racism exists. And, you know,
of course, you're fucking throwing broccoli at that. It's not going to fix it.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
bro. It's not going to fucking fix anything. But there's a higher chance of everything getting fixed if we take those precautions of education and health.
And it's realistic. It's something that I know, you know, like obviously someone could educate me on what more I could do. You know what I mean? But these are two realistic things that are in my control that I could do with ease. Like I said, whether it's money or getting my hands dirty or posting about it or getting more people involved. You know, these are, like you said, you posted about like the run, right? The Black Lives Matter run, right? That's like, there's a call to action, right? Which to most people like me and not people of color, there unfortunately needs to be some sort of call to action that makes sense to people, right? It just, most people, all people, you know, when you say, look, we're going to go run a fucking marathon for cancer, it's the same shit, right? Everyone goes out and they run the marathon for cancer. So it's like there always needs to be something attached to it for it to make sense. And, you know, I think most people are doing it. I think you're doing it and I'm doing it. A lot of my artist friends are doing it. A lot of my friends are doing it, people of color and not, you know. So I don't know, man. I think the world's in a you have to destroy everything to rebuild it back up, right? And I feel like this is the first time in my lifetime, at least, where it just feels so,
Oh yeah.
so in shambles, but like also being rebuilt at the same time. You know?
Well, that's why the way the year started off with like Kobe dying, for example, and then coronavirus, and then George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, like all these things happen, but I can't help but look at it from the perspective of this is all actually kind of good.
Yeah, 100%,
You know what I mean?
100%.
In the sense of that, like, I feel like America and the world in general finally has that opportunity or is realizing there's an opportunity to change this old cracked out system
Yep.
that obviously isn't helping anybody.
Simple. And if it's got to be torn the fuck down, I understand how and why that makes sense. Like you just said, from a metaphorical standpoint, that's what you do when some shit's not working. The record we just talked about. Hey, the record didn't sound good. We got to destroy it and start again. You know what I mean? Obviously within reason, but it makes sense.
That's why they say if it ain't broke, don't break it. But this shit's obviously broke, so let's break it.
There you go. Simple, man.
Oh man. So forgive and regret, man. What's the idea behind the album?
So my whole brand is around no snakes, right? My whole brand is always around. Oh, excuse me. Oh man, I don't know. I guess I got cutting out meat. I don't know, man. I got some acid reflux or something. But forgive and regret, man. It's my whole brand is around loyalty and people abusing that trust and that loyalty, and that's always been my since I had a brand. That's what I've been known for. You know what I mean? And forgive and regret is basically, obviously people can interpret a certain way, but initially the idea was forgiving somebody and then regretting it. So forgive and forget. Oh, let me just forgive and forget and whatever. So a lot of the times I forgave friends, family, coworkers, peers, rappers, producers, whatever. And I ended up almost all the time, every time regretting forgiving somebody, and it's just like, just for the same reason, you welcome somebody back in your life and you're like, oh, why did it, when you have a falling out with someone and you start like looking at it, you're like, whoa, why did I ever have a falling out with that person, right? Because you had enough time apart. But a real toxic person or relationship is always going to find its way back to toxicity, right? So it's like assuming me and you had a shit relationship, we didn't talk for a year or two. Oh, I wonder what's Nico up to. Let me hit him up. In 3 days, I'm going to be like, this is why I'm not talking to that guy. You know what I mean? Like, so.
You'll remember.
That's what I mean. So that's kind of what the album is centered around of like you said, like, I love when people make a massive change, right? Like I have a homie of mine, he's a DJ, he's my DJ, and he never had a massive problem with alcohol or this or that, but he moved here, he moved there, he basically made a bunch of life changes in such a short period of time. Cut out drinking, cut out this, cut out that, getting more in shape, getting his head focused, got 3 new gigs on radio stations and got hired here, a bunch of new jobs thrown at him. And it was, once again, it's just like I love that type of energy. So when I welcome in somebody that doesn't have that energy, it's usually always there. It's like they're not going to shake that shit. Like if you're naturally lazy and you don't make a massive change in your life, and something I could see, like I know you're probably acting the same exact way where I dropped you off 2 years ago.
And it's so ironic that you say all of this, because even the producer that you were working with for this album, you said you hadn't spoken to in like a decade. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy how like the idea of the album is like forgive and regret with everything that you just said.
I'm telling you, it's weird how it's going on.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, you and your producer homie haven't been talking for like 10 years, but then here you guys are like
it's making weird, bro. I'm telling you, that's how I look at shit. I appreciate you looking at it, the same way. And it's like I feel like everything's so strangely aligned right now. From I'm still working on the whole mind, body, soul thing, right? But everything's aligning, from the relationships to the music to the health, still to the mental health, to just understanding. And I don't know, man, like you just said, it's to getting people out of my life. Every time I pray, right? Like I'm a believer in God. I'm not a believer in any specific religion, God. I am a Jew, right? But I just believe in a higher power, right? And every time I pray, anytime I remember to, I always say something like, thank you for taking the people that you have out of my life and putting the people that you have in it. And, please remove anyone from my life who's, doesn't blah, blah, blah. And please bring in it. I discuss something like that. And it always works, man. It always works. Somebody always disappears from my life that's not meant to be there. And somebody always enters, whether it's to learn a lesson or to grow from it or to add to my success, whatever it is. So, yeah.
When can we expect the album to drop, bro?
Album July 31st. I haven't gone crazy with the date promo because, like I said, this guy's a mad scientist. So it's like every minute of every hour, he's tweaking and changing shit to the point where, like, now we're like, hey, look, we got to turn some shit in. We need to turn in an album. So please get me the best version of whatever your mind will allow you to export this at. And I'm trying to turn in the album the next day or two. I'm trying to have a solid month of promotion. I do pre-orders every time because no one does iTunes anymore. No one cares. You might have you know how it goes. You might have these artists top one on Apple Music that sold 300 copies, but physical sales, not that it's a big deal. If you could stream 100 million times, get your bread, you're doing well. You know what I mean? But I still like to do a mixture of new school and old school where it's like, we give people the incentive. So I still like to chart on iTunes. Like, my album years ago, I did number 5. And last year I did number 3, right behind J. Cole's shit and MGK shit. And this year I'm hoping to chart number 1 because it's like, I got so many people waiting for it. They're almost like a supreme drop. Like people are like, when's the pre-orders? Because every year we do something and we added something new this year. But every year, if you go on iTunes, you go on Google, you buy it for $9, $10. Hold on. I got a house phone, by the way. That's my house phone, right?
Damn, you upgraded to the house phone now. Damn.
Yeah, we always get hella stupid calls. But every year I do something where I handwrite thank you letters to people who pre-order it and buy the physical digital copy. And I write a handwritten thank you letter. I mail it out with stamps and shit. So it's none of that digital shit. You get it right to your door, signed for me. Thank you, John, blah, 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 Hi-Rez, whatever. I send it out. We include some stickers. And this year we're doing, on top of that, you know what Patreon is? Patreon?
Yeah.
So it's the same concept instead of going through a site. So we're doing the same concept. So you buy my album for $10, you get a discount off the merch store, which is, as you see, there's a huge selection. So you get a discount code that's unique to buying the album. You get a handwritten thank you letter from me, and you get your full name in the credits of like a prank or a music video or something, all for $10. So it's like, a huge percentage of my audience is waiting to fucking do this shit. And like, it was never originally for money because like I spend a few dollars to send you shit physically in the mail through stamps. Stamps are not cheap, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, it's never been a huge money maker, but it is a way to let's chart on iTunes, and obviously I make money off it. And obviously, it just feels realistic to me. It's like, I love when you buy some shit and you feel like it's worth it. You know what I mean? Instead of, I'm just going to, like, who wants to pre-order an album when you can stream it? Unless there's an incentive. Simple.
I feel like give it a couple more years, people might consider you hip-hop's Gary V.
Hey, man, I'm just as fucking I tweak out like him too. So.
And like, you know what I mean? Like your business model is so unique, because I remember the last time we were talking, I think you were selling your concert tickets for like $1.
Yeah, we sold the shit out. We did the shit first time we ever tried it, and the business model worked. And I told you about it. Like we ran the numbers, and we were like, okay, like if we sell out a 250, 300 capacity venue at $1 tickets, yeah, we're only making $300. But now they all feel so inclined to, I only spent $1 to see Hi-Rez for an hour. Let me put $20 in his pocket, and I get a T-shirt for it. Let me buy. So as long as your margins are good, like, if it's costing you $15 to make those shirts that you're selling for $20, that's the terrible model. You shouldn't do the dollar concerts. Whereas me and my girlfriend, we could figure out how to get, cheaper T-shirts, not cheaper, but, one print, one color, one location on a, if we wanted to, a lower end, a Gildan T-shirt. If we want to, we have the whole book. We do way higher than that. We never do Gildan. We do like Next Level. And, back in the day, we used to do the Gildan, and we do our own shit. We do our own shit now. But yeah, man, if your business model is right, if your business model is correct, then you just got to think outside the box and start figuring out ways to, not trick your audience into thinking they're getting a good deal, but give them a good deal that also works for you. Like, people think that's not real. People think you have to rip off your customers or vice versa. But it's like, I can get a good deal and you can get a good deal. Now let's figure out how to fucking do it.
Man, Hi-Rez for president, man.
Hey, Rez for Prez, dog.
Rez for president, man. Yo, thank you so much for stopping by the lunch table again, man. I
absolutely
really appreciate the fact that you have so many gems to share, not only to me, but to your fans especially, bro. Like, and I'll keep on saying that you're such a dope rapper, bro. And on top of that, you've been a dope person, a dope friend. I think if anybody, especially your fans, get to like meet you in person, I think they will get exactly what they think.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. Oh, dude, I got a man bun too now. Hold on.
No, you don't.
Yeah. Dude, I'm out here, dog. I'm fucking out here, dog. Hold on, we gotta get a thumbnail. Hold on.
Oh shit!
Wait, can I have your ponytail real quick?
Oh, of course.
Nah.
The freaking thing, yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, this will be the thumbnail, bro.
I'm going in, fucking man bun gang. All right, here we go, dog.
There we go. There we fucking go. Let me get you on the sweet old Instagram, bro.
Yeah. Man bun squad, man.
Oh, Hi-Rez.
What up?
Man bun now, you
man bun gang, man bun quarantine did me nice, man. I look good, feel good. Come on, man.
Woo. Thank you so much, Rez.
Hey, absolutely, man. Let me know when this comes out. I'll promote it.
Of course, brother. Take care.
Take it easy, dog.